Greetings to all of you, dear students. Nice to meet you back. Today we are going to solve the 13th problem in case of liquidation of your company. The following was the balance sheet of Unsound Limited as on 31/12/18 when it was wound up by voluntary. We had 50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, 2,006% preference shares of rupees 100 each. We have 7% debentures, sundry creditors, trade creditors, preferential creditors. Plant and machinery, furniture, investment, stock, debtor, cash, profit and loss account. Profit and loss account given in asset side is treated as loss. Preference dividend are in arrears for 1 year. Debenture interest is also due for 1 year. Creditors and preferential creditors are paid. The assets realized as follows. Plant and machinery realized 2,80,000. Furniture realized 400. Debtor realized 1,50,000. Stock and investment realized nothing, means stock and investments could not be realized, so nothing is being recovered from sale of stock and investment. 0. The expenses of liquidation amounted to rupee 2,000. The liquidator is entitled to a commission of 4% on the assets realized and 2% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. The following was the balance sheet of Unsound Limited as at 31/12/18 when it was wound up voluntarily. So we have 50,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, 5 lakh, 2,006% cumulative preference shares of rupees 100 each, 2 lakh, 7% debenture, 1 lakh. Then we have sundry creditors 3 lakh, trade creditors 40,000. So both are called unsecured creditors. No mention about secured creditor in the question. So both creditors are termed as unsecured creditors. Then total unsecured creditors will be 3,48,000. Preferential creditor is 2,000. Then we have plant and machinery, furniture, investment, stock, debtor, cash. All 6 assets are given in the problem. PL account given in asset side is a loss, so this needs to be ignored. Don't consider PL account. Preference dividend are in arrears for 1 year. So dividend are payable in case of cumulative preference share. So preference dividend is supposed to be paid in the question. However, if amount is available to be paid, we need to pay. Otherwise, no cash available, ignore this point. Debenture interest is also due for 1 year. So debenture interest is due for 1 year. Creditors and preferential creditors are paid, means unsecured creditors and preferential creditors are paid. So unsecured creditor is 3,48,000. Preferential creditor is 2,000. Totally 3 assets are realized. What are the assets realized? Plant and machine 2,80,000, furniture 400, debtor 1,50,000. Stock and investment realized nothing. The expenses of liquidation amounted to rupee 2,000. So dissolution expenses or liquidation expenses is 2,000. Liquidator is entitled to a commission of 4% on the assets realized. How much is the asset realized? On that it's calculated at 4%. and 2% on the amount paid to unsecured creditors. So liquidator remuneration is calculated on 2, on asset realized 4%, on amount paid to unsecured creditors 2%. Now let us look into the question how this needs to be solved. Here's the answer that appears before you all. Cash 1200 to be taken to outer column. Reason, cash is a non-realizable assets. Cash is a non-realizable assets, therefore to be ignored. In the sense to be ignored for calculating remuneration. So therefore take it separate. Then we have plant and machinery 2,80,000, furniture 400, data 1,50,000. Total assets realized is 4,30,400. And payment side, secured creditor, nothing, we don't have in the question. Liquidation expenses is 2,000. Remuneration is calculated on assets and on unsecured creditors. It's calculated on 2. On assets realized 4,30,400 into 4%, so you get 17,216. Remuneration on unsecured creditor, always keep it pending. Do not calculate now, keep it pending. We shall check whether sufficient amount is available or not available. Then we have debenture 1 lakh. Debenture interest is due for 1 year. 1 lakh into 7%. So we get debenture interest 7,000. Then we have preferential creditor 2,000. Now let us check whether sufficient amount is available to pay unsecured creditor or not. Total unsecured creditor is 3,48,000. Let us check whether how much amount is available to be paid. Cash 1,200, okay, plus total assets realized is 4,30,400 minus liquidation expenses 2,000 minus liquidator remuneration on assets is 17,216 minus debenture 1 lakh minus debenture interest is 7,000 minus preferential creditor 2,000. So we have in the question 4 lakh, we have only 3,0888. Sufficient amount is not available to pay unsecured creditors. So we have only 3,03,384. Sufficient amount is not available. Therefore, we need to divide by 100 plus rate to calculate remuneration. So this is how we calculate the remuneration. So remuneration on remuneration on unsecured creditor is 3,03,384 divided by 102 into 2, we get 5,948. Then total remuneration is 23,164. So unsecured creditors final payment is 2,97,436. How do you get 2,97,436? Total of receipt side 4,31,600 minus expenses 2,000 minus remuneration 23,164 minus debenture 1 lakh minus debenture interest 7,000 minus preferential creditor it's 2,000. So we get 2,97,436. Actually we have to pay 3,48,000. We don't have so much of money. So 2,97,436 divided by 3,48,000, we pay 85 paisa in a rupee. Where we need to pay 1 rupee, we are paying only 85 paisa. Good luck. Thank you.